Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. So what you did you check out the last episode?
Yeah, I definitely did, man. It was cool. It was cool to me that you brought your son into it. Like um, and because it just shows how important, like to us, what matters the most
Yeah.
to us. You know, and what matters to us is our children. Like our children are a big part of our lives. You know what I mean? Like, and especially I mean, we probably, you have a daughter, right? You have a little daughter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I got two daughters.
How old is you? Oh, you got two
Yeah.
daughters. So I mean, so your oldest is a teenager, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your little baby.
Yeah. She's two.
So like I don't know, yeah, your daughters are different, right? There's something to protect, and like you're different, but when you're around your little dude, it's a whole different game. So I understand like the love for the son, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And your little dude, he was a rock star, like he killed it. It shows. It's awesome to see your kid talk. I know you since you was little. I
Yeah.
know you when you was young. You was running around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being little dummies and shit. But to see you become a man and then to hear your son, your offspring speak and speak so well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have such good mannerisms. It shows the work you put in, and that's something to be proud about in your behalf. Mm.
Yeah. It's funny
You
you say
know?
that because I somebody said that to me before. They were like that.
Yeah.
Kids are a reflection of you as a parent, and
Yeah.
it's crazy
Definitely.
because man, when he's at home, this kid does not act like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like a little Tasmania, and it's crazy because
Oh, I believe it.
whenever he goes to school and the teachers, everybody, oh, he's a sweetheart, he's awesome, and I'm like, I know he is, man, but man, do they really see how he
Yeah,
is at home?
yeah, yeah. I feel you. No, but that's even better, bro. Like because school is the important place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at home, that's his domain, his kingdom. You know,
Mm.
let him be the little Donnie Thornberry, little Donnie Thornberry. You know what I mean? Like I remember seeing your kid with that long curly hair with those glasses, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I mean, there's no wool that could be pulled behind my eyes, man. Like my mom always says, like basically I can see past all the bullshit. Nigga. I know son is at home, but it's good that when he's out, that he represents the family the way he's supposed to.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And these days, a lot of kids, man, they're crazy. They have no mannerisms, bro.
Yeah.
They don't respect like us. We were different times, right? Like we were more disciplined. Our generation, I think, is more disciplined, right? We respected our elders, and things like that. I mean, we were more wild, right? We got it in and shit like that. These kids are a little more different, but they're smarter than us, bro.
Mm.
Like, I don't know what the fuck is in the infant milk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was definitely something different while these kids is getting fed when they're babies because these little dudes are half geniuses in my eyes, man. Sometimes I see my kid do some stuff and I'm like, how the hell you learn that? Where you learn that from? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't teach you that, man. Like,
Yeah, I think a
But
lot.
it's
I think
awesome
what a
that
lot of it has to do too is that they have access to information that we couldn't have access to, like phones and Googles, and
facts, right?
it's like in a way you also got to be careful what they're watching, man. Because I've caught Sebastian watching,
Oh yeah.
a few things where they start cursing, and I gotta stop him.
Ooh,
Like, hey, bro, you gotta change that.
ooh.
You know?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Like in a quick and a hurry, like it's hard, as a parent, right? Because that tool is a pacifier, It's good, like, it keeps it callado, like here, toma, coge tu tablet, just chill out, you know what I mean? Go to the corner somewhere, be easy, leave me alone. It's definitely a good break for a parent, man. Like we get that good break, like they just chill out. And in a sense, right? Like you're saying, the other day I was hearing like my son now he's when he was little, it was Coco Melon, you know what I'm saying too?
Yeah.
And he's learning songs, he's singing songs, and that was cute. But now he's getting a little bit bigger, and I'm hearing him say some stuff sometimes, and I'm like, "Yo, wait a minute, where you hear that from?" And that's that's when we really gotta be on it, man. Like sometimes we can't let that slack off and let them get too lost in that thing, though. But one thing that stood out to me a lot too, like when your son was speaking about, being in New York,
Mm.
like he said, one of the things that he loves about New York is waking up to hearing the birds. He knows he's in New York when he hears the birds chirping.
Yeah.
And he didn't like the waking up at Georgia because the sun is that bright sun is shooting through his window, hurting his eyes and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Too like it made me think because yeah, I can hear like I wanted to clarify that a little bit for the people because I was like, yo, do they know what is he talking about? New York. When people think about New York, they think about
The city.
buildings, the World Trade
Yeah.
Center. Yeah, man. But we're from Brentwood, New York, Long Island. It's
Hmm.
it's it's a different thing. It's not what you think. If you think in suburbs or suburbia, white picket fence shit. Like, yeah, we got that, but it it's like the Bronx packed into spaces of woods. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's exactly what I can say, man. But yeah, it was cool, man. Seeing your kid, like I said, it was dope hearing your kid speak. He speaks well. He's articulate. I can't wait to even hear about his first soccer match. Too.
Yeah.
He was talking about
Yeah.
that,
September
which
9th.
is pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's dope, man. September 9th, man. Whoever's out there, man, go support Sebastian. You out there in freaking Georgia where he's at, man. I don't want to hear no hoopla, man. Go support people.
Yeah.
That's something as a people that we need to do more too, bro.
Yeah. That's true.
Like as a people, hell yeah, man. We gotta stop hating on each other, man.
Yeah. That's
We
true.
gotta stop having that envious eye, man. Like when a kid got a game, man. Why people don't pack out the stadium, man?
Yeah.
When somebody why is it that you just see a parent by himself one, but meanwhile his son is playing a game or doing what I'm saying? Nah, man, like it should be your people should be there to support, man. Like there's a Zulu proverb, right? A Zulu proverb, man. I don't know if y'all anybody knows who the Zulus were, but they were a tribe from Africa, and they were, a warrior tribe, man. But in this tribe, they have a proverb where they said that it takes a village to raise a child,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, I've heard that one before.
because yeah, like a Zulu child will be nursed by almost all the women's breasts in the tribe, because like they would drop them off for anybody. Here, boom, I gotta go do something. You know what I mean? Like I gotta go, hunt some cows or whatever the hell they do over there. You know what I mean? And that baby will be safe. They would know that that baby will be treated well with whoever they drop the baby off to.
Yeah.
And as a people, man, as a people, we need to have that, man. We need to have that support for each other. Like you know, keep that dollar within the community. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, that's true. You mentioned you mentioned hunting. Uh
Oh,
and what came to my head was fishing because I
yeesh.
try to get
Huh.
I know you're a really big fisher. You love to fish.
Oh
I
yeah, man.
got into fishing during the pandemic. They sent us home. They paid us luckily for 3 months. So instead
Oh,
of
nice.
staying home, I went out to the lake and fished, but I never caught anything,
Yeah.
bro. But just the fact that I was
Oh man.
able to sit there and one of the things that it taught me was patience. I was able to be patient and it was interesting because
Hmm.
I never caught anything, and you would think I had a cousin. He didn't catch nothing, and just he stopped coming. I kept going by myself,
Ha ha ha.
and just I love that
Yeah.
peace, quiet, that nobody's bothering you. And I try to take Sebastian with me, but it's not his thing. I be seeing that your little man, the videos that you be posting that he's caught fish
Hmm.
before, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My son has caught fish. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm a avid fisherman, bro. Like I love fishing. I mean, it's been something that's been in my family. Even on my mom's side, like she was, my mom's dad. We were estranged from him. Like we didn't know him, right? He wasn't our grandfather. Like we had another grandpa, Grandpa Louis. Like and Grandpa Louis was, obviously my mom's stepdad, right?
Hmm.
But that was our grandpa. We didn't see him no other way. We loved that man. But that man, he was a fisherman, and he taught us. He passed it down to us and it's something that we all love to do. Like our whole family does it. Even my mom, like when my mom got back with her father, he was a fisherman. He actually used to go spear fishing,
Oh wow.
and he will go. Yeah, he will go he lived in Puerto Rico, and he will go into the water with a spear gun, dive down and spear pulpo. You know what I mean? And whatever fish he can get. A lot of times he'll go to the market and sell it, get his little money, or just bring back dinner.
So how old were you when
And
you first
so it's
started to fish?
Oh man, bro. Since I could remember back, bro. So I could say since my first memory as a kid, 5 years old, I remember sitting on a rock and having a piece of a bunker, which is a bait fish that my grandpa would use for bait, and he would chop it up. And I had the tail, and I would swim out to a rock that was in the water, and I would climb on top of the rock, and
Oh,
then on top of the rock, I would take the fish tail, and I would just wiggle it in the water, and as I was wiggling the fishtail in the water, bait will come up to eat the tail, and I would grab the bait with my hand,
oh
and I would
wow.
shove it inside of a little bottle, and then I was proud to bring that back to my grandpa and say, "Here, I got bait. I got bait for you." Like, and it was something. It, fishing, like I said, it's a it's a weird thing for me. It's like there's chaos, right? Like when you're surf casting and you're in the surf. I don't know. There's different types of fishing. Like you were talking about going to a lake.
Yeah.
I do surf casting. I you know I do all types of things. So like whenever you'll be surf casting, there's chaos in the water. The water's going crazy. Like, but I don't know. I find like it's weird, right? That I find peace there
Mm-hmm.
in something that's so crazy.
That's how I felt.
But you have to you like so if you wanted to take your kid, you there's a lot of things you have to do. So I'm gonna put you and whoever's listening on to things over here. Okay, check it out. If you want to go, you have to do your little information. You have to do your study. You have to know where you're going. You have
Mm.
to know what
Okay.
fish. You have to know what fish are in the water, and you have to know what you're targeting. So if you're in Georgia, like there's freshwater over there, I'm more than sure there's largemouth bass everywhere.
Yeah, I've heard of that
So you
fish
make sure
bass.
you got, yeah, I'm more than sure there's largemouth bass in there. You know what? If you throw a block out in the water and wiggle it the right way, that largemouth bass will try to eat that.
Oh wow.
That's how aggressive they are.
Have you tried bass before?
So yeah, yeah, I've tried bass. I've tried bass. I've eaten all types of fish. You know what I mean? Like bass is, Um, so yeah, I've tried it. It's all right. It's pretty good. Like my favorite fish, I would say, is fluke flounder. Is a different type of fish. It's you catch it in the bay. Out here in Long Island.
Mm.
Um, but it's a whole different thing. Like I go out on my kayak. It's a lot of studying. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know what rig you're gonna rig up. Like, um, and you just have to know like the tides. Everything comes into play. Everything comes into play. You know.
Yeah, no wonder I wasn't catching anything. I went to the bait store and I was telling them that I wanted to catch that I couldn't catch anything. It's my first time. I just wanted to learn and one of the things that he told me was I guess I had used the hook that I was using was way
Yeah.
too big. I had to use something smaller for what I was trying to catch, which I didn't even know what I was trying to catch. I I caught a fish one time out of my whole fishing experience, but that one time
Yeah.
felt so awesome, bro.
Oh
It
man.
was an
Yeah, I feel you.
unforgettable feeling, man.
Right.
That's why I kept
Yeah.
constantly doing it, constantly throwing it, and then I didn't get into live bait. I did the fake ones, and then I realized that I had to
Yeah.
throw it, pull it back in, throw it, pull it back in, and
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like I said, it's different. It's different type of play that comes involved. It's so like it's different lures you got. Different things. So let's say I mean, you could use a frog. Like some bass. They you could go frog fishing. Like in the winter, you go to the store, you go to Dick's, you go to wherever Bass Pro Shop, and you'll see they have these little fake frogs, and that's a topwater lure. So you go out, you get your line. You have to make sure you have good line. You have to make sure you have good equipment. You know what I mean? Like if you want to produce, if you want to catch something, you have to make sure that your gear is up to par. You can't just go with just anything. You know what I'm saying to you?
yeah,
So let's say you have a frog and you take that frog and you throw that frog out. You gotta make that frog wiggle around and move around and make it look like enticing to the fish. And the fish will, hit it. The fish will come up and bite that thing, but it's all on you. You have to psych that fish out.
mm,
You have to make that fish want to hit that lure because not for nothing, a bass is not a stupid fish. That bass has probably been caught 20 times in its whole life.
oh wow,
So each time he sees that same lure, he's like, "No, wait a minute. Last time something funny happened when I hit that color, and I'm not doing that this time." You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So it's all about patterns. It's all about patterns, and like so, if the sun is out high, bats don't have eyelids, so they're gonna be hiding behind bushes. They're gonna be hiding behind places with shade. So in a sense, it's kind of easy because they're always going to be in the same place. You understand?
Yeah.
If the sun is out, if you go fishing at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, the sun is at its highest point.
Mm.
So if fish don't have eyelids, they can't close their eyes. That sun beams in their eyes, so they hide. They hide behind bushes or laydowns or in the grass. You understand? Because it's got shade. So yeah, fishing. There's a lot of things. There's a whole lot of stuff with that. You know what I mean? I could go on for days. You know what I mean? Like, but if you want to take your kid fishing, and you want him to catch something, an easy way to do it is a bobber and a little hook and a worm, bro. And you will produce something. Something will hit that. You're either gonna catch some sunfish, maybe you catch a catfish, or maybe you even catch a trout, depending on the season. But you just have to know. You have to understand where you're going and do your little due diligence and study.
Okay, hell yeah.
Hmm?
And when you were
Yeah,
talking
boy.
about your grandpa, you had mentioned Puerto Rico. Is that
Yeah.
where you were born at?
Oh yeah, I was born in Puerto Rico, so I was born in Bayamon, Santa Juanita. Um, and yeah, I came out here as what 8 9 years old. We moved back. Puerto Rico was a little rough out there, but I miss it. I miss it in a sense like I miss hearing the coquis and being able to go to the backyard and pick fruit, wild fruit growing up the trees, and just straight up wash it off in the hose and eat it. Like you don't get that out here. And it's a different thing. Like it's a different sense. Like community, they're tight knit. Like if you're walking down the block and someone sees you, you're not supposed to be down there. Someone's gonna say, "Hey, what are you doing over here?" Like it's not like here in America. I don't know. People see, they turn a blind eye a lot of times. They don't care. They don't know that. Okay, they know that you're their neighbor and that's your kid, but they don't give a shit. They just turn a blind eye, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's a problem. Like I think that as a people, we have to care more for each other. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
Like so me, my faith, I'm Christian. What about you?
I'm Christian as well. I grew up Christian.
You believe in Christ, right?
Yeah.
Huh? So you believe in the death and the resurrection, of course.
Yes.
Okay. So like, in a sense, when I say that, all I'm saying is that Jesus was came to the earth, right? He died, and on the third day he resurrected, right?
Hmm.
And that's how we're able to come to Christ, right? Through him, through Jesus Christ, right? So I believe I'm heavily believe in Christ, and I mean I do believe there's some gaps and there's some things that are there's some things that are kind of misunderstood, right? And it's my journey in life right now to seek that out. I think every man should have that.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
yeah. What about you, man? Where were you born at, bro?
I was um I was born in West Islip in what's that hospital called? Good Samaritan
Good
Hospital.
Sam, Good Samaritan.
Good Sam, yeah, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
And then my
Also, you've been on Long Island all your life.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. I
Nice,
started
nice,
off in
fool.
Huntington. I lived there for till I was about like 8 or 9, and
Uh,
shoot, mate, around the same age that you left Puerto Rico. You said you left when you were 8.
yeah, like 8 years old. Yep, eight. Yep. I think around 8 years old when I started. When I started school, I was like 9 around that time. Like, you know what I mean? Like around that age. Around that age. Yep.
How was that conversation like when your mom told you?
Oh man, like so I don't know. I can remember just wanting to go because my grandpa was out here,
Oh, okay.
and me and my brothers, we were so you know attached to my grandpa that like when we left it kind of hurt, like being away from him. So going back to him was it was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of weird. Like in a sense I kind of wanted to stay because I just started getting good at baseball. Like
Mm,
we played baseball in Puerto Rico. Baseball was a big thing, and I sucked. Like I swear I sucked, man. I would close my eyes every time I got up to the plate and just swing, even if the ball was in the backstop. Yeah, even if the ball was on the ground, even if the pitcher didn't even throw the ball, I'm closing my eyes and swinging.
yeah.
Because I got hit one time. Yeah, I got hit one time in a practice, like in the eye. Wow, I never forget it. So I was just
Ooh.
shook. But the kids, man, of those Puerto Rican kids, man, and I say it like that, yo, those fucking Puerto Ricans, bro, they're mean as fuck, bro. They are mean, man. If you suck, bro, it's not like out here. They try to beat you up in the dugout, man. Like we would go shake hands of the other team after the games, and as we're going to shake hands, they would throw punches. Boom, boom, kick you in the stomach, punch you in the stomach. Yo, like it was always like that, man. Like it was craziness. Like it's a different thing. They took it real serious, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember that summer, man. I just started training, man, in a marquesina, which in PR, a marquesina is kind of like attached to your house. It's it's almost like a driveway, but you have like a metal awning and a gate around it.
Mm.
You know, so it's like your garage. It's basically like an outdoor garage, which is breezed out, open. It's not closed up like a garage out here. So they call it a marquesina. But in there, we would play. We spent a lot of our times. So we would take my mom's broom and then we would take a piece of tape, duct tape, and wrap it up, make a ball, you know.
Yeah.
And she would get so mad because we broke so many brooms, you know. And yeah, we from there like we'll make a little ball, like a little tiny ball, nothing too big, and that will help you with your time, with your timing, seeing the ball. And yeah, so once I started hitting that ball, bang, I didn't close my eyes, man. So I was excited to play baseball another season, but you know I would have to stay with my stepdad. You know, my mom was like, "Okay, you can stay with your stepdad. You can play baseball. You can come with us." And I was like, "Man, I'm going with you. You know, I'm going with mommy." You know.
Yeah.
So we came out. We came to Long Island, and it was a different. It was it was different, man. It was way different, man.
When you
I mean, Brentwood at that time, huh?
when you
Go ahead,
landed
bro.
in Long Island, where did you move to?
We moved to Brentwood. We moved to
Oh.
Brentwood. So we moved. Yeah, we moved to Hancock, which if you're from Long Island, if you're from Brentwood, you know that block. We moved to Hancock Street, and it was in the north side of Brentwood. But at that time, man, it's not like the Brentwood that we all seen today. It was different. There was still white people there, man. There was a lot of Italians. Like we had neighbors
Oh
that were
wow.
white, and yeah, like a lot of the kids were still they were playing hockey, on the street. And here we come from Puerto Rico playing baseball. Now we're seeing this, and we're like, wow, and we wanted to play. So, I bugged my mom for rollerblades, man. And then, of course, the Mighty Ducks came out. I don't know. That was my favorite movie of the whole time,
I
bro.
had never seen
The
that
Mighty
movie.
Ducks. Oh, my God,
I
bro.
have to.
You have to watch the Mighty Ducks. They're all of them, from 1 to 3. They were all good,
Oh
man.
wow.
Emilio Estevez, Mighty Ducks, man. That movie had a big influence in my Americanizing me,
Yeah.
making me want to play hockey. So yeah, me and my brothers, man, we watched that movie and we wanted to get rollerblades. We got rollerblades, and then my grandpa got us a stick, and then we started playing hockey. But then little by little, the demographic started to change.
Mm.
Um, people started coming. A lot of more Spanish people started coming, and then the neighbors started leaving one by one. Choo, 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 and then the neighborhoods went from you know, 4th of July, everybody's blowing firecrackers, like, and then, everyone was together, like, like, it was something different. Like, you could feel like a sense of community, right? To like, now it's like, we're here, by ourselves, you know, it's not like, hey neighbor, it's, what the fuck you looking at type shit,
Yeah.
and, yeah, you can feel the change, you can feel the change in the community. And especially when we went to school, me and my brother, we would go dress, in polos and penny loafers, dress nice, while kids were wearing Jordans and stuff like that, and so yeah, we would get made fun of. And you know, being an older brother, man, I had to, I was always told, you got to protect your brothers. You got to protect your brothers. If something happens to your brothers, it's on you. So that, you know what I mean? So, a little, um, you it was like things kind of pushed you, man, like to be different. Like of course you're a kid, right? You want to fit in.
Mhm.
You don't want to be different, man. All that. Like now that I'm older, I don't give a shit, man. If I can go back, I'll still be the same. F it. I'm the way I am, bro. Like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. This is the way I am. Whatever. I'll be the biggest geek in the world. I wouldn't even care. Tell you the truth. There's nothing wrong with that. You see, like, but I didn't have that proper guidance, to tell for someone to really tell me, hey, who you are, you're amazing, you're an amazing person, you're you're a strong Boricua, you come from the noble lord of the Tainos, and your history is beautiful, like, and you have a history, don't feel like you're down, you're nothing, like, and that just that feeling of not knowing your stuff, not knowing where you come from, can lead you into a bad place,
Mm,
because it's easy for anybody to come and influence you. You
yeah.
see what I'm saying to you? Like you said, where your people come from?
My parents are Salvadorian.
Oh, Salvador. Do you know where town and everything like they're from, or
Yeah,
what part of Salvador?
yeah. My dad is from a place called uh, San Miguel, and my
San
mom is
Miguel.
from a place called Quesaltepeque. Sounds weird.
Oh shit. Yeah, que Santepeque,
Yeah,
huh?
it was.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
I mean, our obviously we had indigenous people over there originally.
Yeah.
Our original language is called the Nahuatl. It was several.
The now what?
Nahuatl, yeah.
Oh wow.
Nahuat. We had several languages, but um, once the Spain conquistadors started coming, that's when
Of course.
our original language isn't Spanish. The word
Yeah, of
that
course.
word you ever tried a pupusa before?
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah,
I
pupu-
love those things, man.
pupusa comes from the actual language Nahuatl. And
Now what?
yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that till I have a cousin. He's man, he's a genius, and he knows a lot about history of our country. And I learned a lot
Oh
about
wow.
him. I learned a lot, about my country through him and through research too, man. Because I mean, my younger age, I didn't really care much about history. It's to like when I got
Yeah.
older, when your mind just starts to evolve and it starts, excuse me, it starts to change. But yeah, but I've only been there
Yeah.
like I want to say 2 times. And
Oh, it's El Salvador. You actually been there.
yeah, I've been there. Last time I didn't like it because there was still the gangs were still dominating, and I went
Oh man.
we went for with my stepdad for New Year's. We were buying fireworks, and a soldier grabs me and like tells me to put my hand on my neck, takes my shirt off in front of people, and like I had tattoos at the time, but it just
Oh,
I've never been
how
affiliated
old
to
were
a
you?
gang, so I
How
never.
old were you?
When this happened, it was in 2016. I was 26.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, you was already a little bit older when you went to go visit.
Yeah, the first
So
time I
you went
went.
you went to kind of like
Well,
you went to kind of like to pay homage, right? To
uh, not really. We went on some business stuff, but
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah, but when I was younger, when I was like 9 or 10, I went. That was the first time I went, and I didn't like it. Nothing against my country. I love it. Now I love it, but when I was young,
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not used to the bathroom being cement outside, like 10 yards down the house, and when you have to take a piss in the middle of the night, it's dark as hell. And I mean, now it's modernized. Last time I went, it's a
Yeah,
lot more modernized, but the food, man, the
yeah,
food was delicious when I went out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, just pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
But so
Yeah, I mean, there's a beautiful history in everybody's people, like and where everybody comes from, Um, it's up to us, it's up to us, at you as a man or as a woman, as a whoever's listening, to to really, be able who how can you say who you are today if you don't even know who your people were in the past,
yeah,
You don't even know. It's important to know the past and present, your past and present superiors, like your whole history. And that was awesome that you were able to tell me, about your original language, because I never knew that about Salvadoran people. Like I knew you guys were indigenous, so I figured, you guys were, Inca or Mayan, and derived from that Indian. But I never knew you guys had your own type of language, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome, man.
yeah, it's interesting,
Yeah,
man. I'm still learning about it, because I love to do my research and I love my country. And even though, man, people ask me, man, when I first meet them, where you from? And I I I just can't tell them I'm American. This is my answer most of the time is I'm Salvadorian, or my parents are Salvadorian, but I was born in New York. You know,
yeah,
but a
yeah.
lot of people down here in Georgia, everybody think I'm Mexican. You know,
Oh man,
yeah, which it's
why
just
why why is that? The majority of the people there are Mexican.
oh yeah, the dominant.
Okay.
Beautiful culture too,
Mm.
man. humble people.
Okay, awesome, man. Oh yeah, of course, bro. Like I said, man, the history, you know, I mean, it's what is it like? It's what people do, you know. It's what people say that they put who you are down, you know,
Yeah.
by that Mexican, that Salvadorian, that Puerto Rican, like when meanwhile that's not who you are. You know what I'm saying to you? Like we come from a race of people, a civilization, a beautiful civilization, a people that were smart, intelligent, but like you said, Christopher Columbus, understanding what it is, like we say we're Spanish, but like do you really embrace that side? Like it's crazy that I always say like the identity of a Puerto Rican is so fucked up. Excuse my language.
Why you say
But
that?
it is though. To think about it though, because like if your dad, if you could tell me right now, right, Carlos, right, you say to me, hey, you know, I'm Salvadorian and let's say Peruvian, right?
Hmm.
But your dad, who was Peruvian, raped your mother,
Mm.
and you was born. Are you gonna rep that side? Like, are you gonna be proud to say, hey, yeah, I'm Peruvian, my dad who raped my mom, that's how I got that blood in me, So like it's hard for me sometimes, right? To come into terms with the grips of what I am, inside because I understand how it was put there. It was put there through rape and genocide, When
Wow.
Christopher Columbus came to Puerto Rico, he exterminated the Tainos that were there. And the crazy thing is there, right? That there was a Taino chief, right? A cacique. I think his name was like Abu Baya the Brave, or so, it's like excuse me. I know it. I'm not probably not pronouncing it right, but I know that the last word is right. The Brave. He was a cacique, a chief in the island, right? And when Christopher Columbus came, something happened to one of his ships. His ships was sinking. He had crap floating everywhere, right? So the Taino chief sent his warriors to go grab up all the stuff that was floating in the water and stack it up on the land, like basically save them, help them out,
Yeah.
So he went and he helped them out, and it took a while, they bust their ass, like bellhops, Let me go help, Michael Jackson out and stack all his luggage up, like that type of treatment, and not even knowing who Christopher Columbus was. They
Wow.
just did it, off of the way they were noble lord. The word Taino means noble lord,
Wow.
and
Okay.
so like like so they helped out, right? And Christopher Columbus wrote in his diary that night, like that day, like because I'm going a little forward. Let me calm down a little bit because there's a lot of stuff to say. Blah, 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 blah. So after they helped him, right? Christopher Columbus gave one of the chiefs, the Taino chief, the brave, right? He gave him his cape. He had a cape of crimson, right? Which is a color that the Tainos weren't used to seeing, right?
Mm.
That red color that, they didn't have that, right? So when he gave him that, he was like, wow, like this, what an awesome gift. So he gave Christopher Columbus his tiara, which his tiara was made out of gold, which he had like a crown of gold. So when he got this thing in his hand, Christopher Columbus started looking around and realized that everybody was blinged out. Everybody had some type of gold on them,
Yeah.
And he went back to his little camp, and he wrote in his diary, and he said that these people are basically like this, okay, in layman's terms, in my own words, but this is basically what he said. These are beautiful people. They like to party. They have fun. They embrace everybody, but they also like to fight a lot, So like think about it, yeah, like it's a fact. They also like to fight a lot, but today this chief doesn't know what he did. By him giving me his crown, he gave me his kingdom. You
Oh.
see, and when he went back to Isabella, which was in Spain, right? He went back after he was done. He went back and showed her the gold and things. And told her, "Listen, there's gold there. There's things to be had. Like, give me more troops, give me the conquistadors, and I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna get all of it." And that's what he did. When he came back, man, by the time he was done, let's say there was 30,000 Tainos. By the time he was done, there was 300. Like that type of percentage.
Oh.
He's like he demolished them all. And then you had the Inquisition at the time, which I don't know if you have heard of the Spanish Inquisition.
No, I've never heard.
So
What is it?
it was the Catholic Church, which now this they were going basically slaughtering anybody who were considered to be pagans. So of course the Tainos, they worship they worship the sun god, the this god, the that god, and they were getting slaughtered because of that. They were getting burned at the stake. I mean, it was a gruesome thing that happened, a gruesome thing that Christopher Columbus did. And he didn't just do it in Puerto Rico, he did it in every land he touched. In every land he touched, he has blood on his hands. But here we are. We have a day for this man. We celebrate this man. We speak the language like it's something, like, yeah, we're Spanish people, like, really, like, do we really rep that side? And hey, to each his own. Everybody has their own thing, But I think it's important to know where it came from, how it was put there,
Yeah.
how we all got this language que nosotros hablamos, ¿entiende?
Hmm.
And why, and do we, and then you make your decision, you make your choice. My choice, I really feel like, damn, like it's fucked up, like I really don't embrace it too much, but it's me, it's in me, it's in my blood. I have African American, Taino Indian, and Spanish blood. Half of us have the same thing. You know,
Interesting.
half of us have the same thing. But either you are Inca or you're a Mayan or you're a Taino. You know what I mean? But you know, half of us have the same type of mix.
Wow, that was
Yeah, man.
that's I've to be honest with you, I've never heard um Puerto Rico's history like that. It's
Oh,
that's powerful.
man.
So
Yeah.
let's rewind a bit. You leave
Mm.
Puerto Rico at
Oh, yeah.
8 years old. You move
Uh,
to Brentwood. It's not
uh.
heavily Spanish dominant yet. What starts
No,
to
not yet.
happen once it's you start to get older? Did you start seeing different things? Like, what school were you
Oh,
attending
yeah.
when you first started to see, like, all right, like
Mm.
something is up here?
Oh, yeah. I guess the culture, right? And things started changing. I guess as you get older, right, your parents get a little bit more loose. They allow you to listen to certain things, watch your raps or whatever, listen to different type of music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? And little by little, you see the change. Like, so I could say when I was in fifth grade, man, I remember going to North Elementary, and man, shout out to North Elementary, man, back in the early 90s, man. What a great school to be at, it was a place like where you felt the love, parents would participate in PTA things,
Wow.
like I've known like my classmates, like I knew their parents because they would always show up, like they would always show up for school shit, and it was pretty awesome having this teacher named Miss Blair. She was a beautiful teacher, and having field day and things like that. It was still like the American dream, like how school's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing. But little by little, man, little by little, as you get to fifth grade, and you go into sixth, and you in that middle school. Now it's different, man. Now it's like you're dealing with you're in sixth grade, you got kids that are in seventh and eighth grade, and you got these huge fucking kids, like and man, like you start seeing things, man. As things start happening to you. I could say like it was there in North Middle School that I started realizing, man, that like dang, why are people wearing a certain color, like what's going on with this? Why are these guys just all linked up, like they like and you know it wasn't that crazy yet in that school,
Yeah.
it got crazy once we got to the ninth grade center. And
Mm.
anybody from Brentwood right now listening to this, they saying the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
yup, right there.
That's where it all
It
starts.
was like, it was there it started, man. Like I remember coming home because I lived literally down the block from the school, and I would come home, and as I'm coming home, there will be a gang initiation here, a gang initiation there, a gang like like no lie, me and my mom would sit on the porch. Like I could pull her outside right now and be like, "Mom, hey, you remember this?" And she'd be like, "Yep." Like we would sit on the porch. We would sit on the porch and we would watch all these gang initiations. Like this was what's going on. It was like a fad to wear a bandana and to say that you were a part of some name and to have a crew, and then like it wasn't just about that. It was like you really had to start fighting. If you was doing that, you really had to start fighting, and then eventually it rubs off on you. Even if you're walking around with a Bible in your hand, and just walking home, and all of that is going on to your left and your right, somehow, some way, one day, it's gonna come to you. All right,
Yeah.
and how you deal with it, it's it's that's so detrimental. Like, like, man, because if you fight back, bro, you might win. You might bust some ass, but then guess what? There's gonna be another motherfucking crew that's looking at you, and then they're gonna come at you, and it's an ongoing cycle. It never stops.
Yeah.
And I can speak to it. I can speak to it because I understand it because it happened to me. I was somewhat of a decent kid still. I was in the limbo. I was still singing Backstreet Boys in school, thinking about girls. Like I just wanted to be chasing the girls, and that's it. Like I was in drama club, I wrestled, I played baseball. And I was in karate. I went to many tournaments
You
all
was in
over the
karate?
country. You know, yeah, I did martial arts for many years. Like along with the fishing thing, it's like how Mr. Miyagi told the Karate Kid, like all all Miyagi's are fishermen and do karate. You know what I mean? Like,
Hell
and
yeah.
so yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's like the same. It's like the same way in my family, man. Like all my family did martial arts. Yeah, and it was man, like I mean the martial art thing. Shout out to Beisho Karate School, Adolfo Enever, Kiyoshi Adolfo Enever, who was basically the master of our school. He's not a Kyoshi no more. He's a higher rank. I think it's called Sochi. He's a Sochi now, which it's like means professor. But he started American Federation of Martial Arts, and it's a big federation known from Shotokan, which is traditional style karate, Japanese karate. And man, like it was just a school, man. Like and the senseis, they were still old school, and like I tell you, we had a lot of discipline. It's not like these schools nowadays. Like you could be 9 years old and get your black belt, and not know shit. But there, you really had to earn your shit. And there was kids from the street, man. There were kids that were athletes, so they were testing you, and you were getting tested. So it was there that I was able to train and get into my combat mode, like so that when the thing came to me in the streets, when it came to me in the streets,
You know how to
I was
react.
able to react.
Yeah.
I was able to react differently than most people because I was so used to the combat. It was something that I did every other day in karate, and I was there all the time, and I trained at home, and so I'm not talking like I'm the toughest guy in the world. I probably can get knocked out too, but it hasn't happened. I'm 38 years old. I'm 38 years old right now, and it hasn't happened. No one has put me on the ground like that, and that's a fact on my kids.
How
See what
many
I'm saying to you? But
how many years did you
go
do
ahead.
martial arts for?
Oh man, so I can say when I came here to Long Island, I was 8 years old. So I could say like around 9 years old, I got in. My mom was in there before me, and she was always training. So I was always watching her,
Oh, your
and
mom,
helping her.
really?
And yeah, oh yeah, but my grandpa did go Jew too. My grandpa was a black belt go Jew. My uncle did karate too. So there was always some karate going on in my house. Like we're watching Cops, right? When Cops first came out in the early '90s, and then there'll be a commercial, and then
Bad
somebody's doing a
boys.
kick. Somebody's doing, yeah, exactly. We was always watching Cops, man. There was History Channel or something like that, or the whole family. And then there'll be a commercial, and then someone's doing something. Either someone's doing some push-ups, or we're having a competition who can do the most push-ups, or Angelo's doing a split. So I'm showing my grandpa that I can do a better split. And my uncle's doing a back kick, so I'm trying to be like him. Shout out to Manny Pajo, he's over there. My uncle Manny,
Manny is
another beast.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
He's
Was
my
Manny's the one
Manny.
that
Yeah, that's all good. Go ahead.
was he the one that tattoos?
Tattoos and whoops everybody ass on the handball
A
courts. Yeah,
handball. I
that
remember
that's
him.
him. Yeah, yeah, that's my Uncle Manny. Yeah, Uncle Manny, man. Like, yeah, he was a big influence in our lives too. Like we loved that Uncle Manny. He was always a good uncle. He was always trying to show us the right way. You know what I'm saying too? Like, and
Yeah.
he's a good uncle, man. Shout out to my Uncle Manny. I love him. I guess everyone needs to have an Uncle Manny somewhere. Like,
Yeah, I
and
have one.
and that
Yeah.
yeah, you had an uncle, yeah, like that, a type that you were tight with.
Yeah, yeah. I I hang out with him the most now, to be honest. And people
Oh,
ask me
in
why
Georgia.
I always hang out with him, and it's because when I was younger, he was the only one who would acknowledge me. You know.
Oh shit.
So I was like, you know what? When I
Okay.
when I get older, I want to hang out with him. You know.
Yeah.
So shout out to Chimo, man. I got a lot of love for him.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out. You gotta shout those dudes out that influence your life, you know, like, it's important, you know what I'm saying to you, to give roses where they do, you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah,
But yeah, like, uncles are important, man.
yeah,
And even if you're not even a blood uncle, sometimes you could be adopted, man. You know?
yeah.
And like, you're just in a situation where you see a kid that just needs you to be an uncle, man.
That's true.
And like, that's an important thing to do too, man. Sometimes God places you in somebody's life for a reason, you know.
Yeah,
It's not for no reason, Los, that me and you know each other. You know what I'm saying to you?
yeah,
It's not for no reason that we here doing this podcast today. You know what I'm saying to you, with each other. Like, no, like, that there's always a reason, bro. You know. But we going too far into this, into it. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about the roots, the beginning. You know why?
yeah,
Why and how, so like, yeah, karate is a big important thing. Learning how to defend yourself, is an important thing. Seeing the school, how it was changing, kids were joining gangs. I still didn't pick a side yet, but eventually, little by little, after you getting too many smacks in the head, like, and turning away, yeah, I'll keep it a buck. I wasn't a lion right away, no way. I was not. I was scared to fight, man. I didn't want to fight. Even though in karate I was let loose, but in the street I was like, damn, I'm not supposed to be doing this. I didn't want
mm,
to get in trouble. I feared my parents. I feared the ass whooping from my stepdad. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, he's gonna whoop my ass if he finds out I'm doing this.
yeah,
But eventually, little by little, that fear goes away. And that's when you get into your shit. When you lose that fear, bro, you know.
yeah.
And it happened one day in school, like one day in school, I'm sitting at a table with a girl, and me, I was always sitting with the girls, always, singing Backstreet Boys, trying to be, oh, that song, even though it was corny, right, Backstreet Boys, but I just love to sing, I love music.
Yeah, I
And
hear.
when the girls found out that you knew that love song, it was like, oh my god, you know that song, like, yeah, and that was my way in, music, you know. And so, one day I'm sitting and some guy taps me on the shoulder, and he's with four other guys, and he's saying, "What am I doing sitting here talking to this girl?" And I said, "Hey, I'm just sitting down talking. Why, you want to sit down?" And I had a broken foot from football. So, but I stood up and dude pushed me, and it got broken up. We got suspended for 2 days, and when I got home, my mom straight up said, I told her what was going on. Like, the kid was a part of a gang. When I was going home that day, after we got suspended, the gang was outside waiting for me in the
Oh
street.
man.
Yeah, so like one of my friends came running to me, they're like, "Yo, don't go outside, them and dudes." One thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna put the names out there, things or the associations. I'm gonna leave it like that. All
Yeah,
right. But it was a mainline gang. You know what I'm saying to you? It wasn't like a little clique or a little funny shit. No, this was a known crew, and they were out there waiting for me. So I called my uncle Macho, who was my uncle at the time, to come get me, and he came and he got me, and we went home and we spoke about it. And yeah, it was there that I never forget my grandpa, man. He was already dying of cancer, and he was withering away, man. Like, my grandpa was everything to us. He was my reason why, like that. I didn't want to let him down, so this is why I was still on the fence. This is why I still was, trying to behave, because I cared about what he thought about me. I cared that, I wanted to do good because I wanted to make him proud.
yeah,
But here he is, that only person that I see, that too, that and he's dying, he's withering away. But when he found out that they were trying to jump me, he got so mad, man. He wanted to get up and go after them, but he was sick and dying of cancer. So, he just told me to handle myself, to handle myself and to be safe. But it was there that I didn't catch, because I was so he said, this next move you make it better be your best move. Yes, he said something like, this next move better be your best move. And I didn't understand it at that time because I was a kid, and I was still stupid. Now as I'm older, I see what's up. Like, what I was supposed to do was just say fuck it, avoid it as best as possible, unless they try to come and hurt me. You know.
yeah.
But what I did was, first thing, I went to school and went right up to him. I said, "Yo, you and your boys come after school. I got something for you." You know. And
Uh,
they were there, and we squared up, and it was four of them, and I laced them, and I handled my business, like, Yeah, all of them. And I'm telling you, I spun kick a dude, bah, and everybody saw it. Everybody, the whole school saw it. They were all. It was dismissal, so everybody was on the buses. The buses were rocking, and they were
Damn.
shouting out. They were calling me the beater upper. They were calling me the two-letter beater upper, and then that was my new name in school now. The beater upper. Yo, beater upper, Karate Kid. Cause so now I went from being real humble and quiet to now Mr. Cool Guy.
Yeah.
And that was the stupidest thing I ever did because it put a target on me now. It put a target on you. You know, I know that for sure too. You're the same way, man. Like, cause you know, you grew up in the same area. So
Yeah.
I like you in your town. Like, have you ever experienced something like that where there was a situation the same way? Like, like where you should have said, maybe I should just duck my head and run, but maybe you was forced to handle your business.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's
right?
that it happened to me at that school. At it's
Ah,
for the people that don't know, the freshman center. Brentwood is divided by four parts: north, west, east, and
mm,
south. So we all have our own elementary schools, which I didn't attend. I was in Huntington at the time. I attended North Middle School, and then from North Middle School, I went to the Freshman Center. Freshman Center is a school only ninth graders go to, and this is where
mm,
West Brentwood, East Brentwood, South Brentwood, North Brentwood, ninth grade all comes together. You know, and it did
mm.
happen to me once. I was outside. There was an altercation that I eventually I snuffed somebody. I snuffed somebody. Snuff. If you don't know what snuff means punch. And it was the wrong person because
Oh,
about I want to say like 2 weeks later, that same person came down with his gang. And like you said too, it was a mainline gang as well. Uh,
yeah.
he hopped out the car and he took off his shirt and he had humongous tattoo in front, like from the top of his chest to like to the bottom of his belly, representing the gang. And
Man.
he pointed at me and said, in Spanish, he says, "Ahora sí la cagaste," and it means
Yeah.
now you fucked up. And I was like,
Yeah, you fucked
uh
this up, boy. Yeah, ahora sí lo cagaste, güey. Yo,
hey,
man.
my heart dropped,
Yeah.
man. I was from that moment on. I think that in that moment, two things happened. I started to build resiliency because I had to find a solution. I couldn't move. We had just moved there the year before, and then on top of that, I had to figure out like what was my next plan gonna do. What was I gonna do? And I think the last thing that I built from that was PTSD because
Oh, man.
they were serious. I mean, I'm not gonna say their names, but you know who they was, and that's when I met your brother, Angelo.
Ah, man.
May he rest in peace. I met Angelo before I
Oh,
met
man.
you, and Angelo was
Yeah, yep.
Angelo. A couple of days later, after that happened, I was about to get jumped by them, but Angelo was walking up the block, and he helped me out, man. I guess Angelo
Man.
was already uh beefing with them. I think everybody was, man,
Oh, yeah.
because they
Oh,
were
yeah,
just
no. Yeah, at that time, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck 1,000, my G. Like, at that time, everybody was beefing with those dudes because they just saw they ran the world, like. And it was, let me tell you something, it was never like I'm a straightforward shooter, man. I'm a slick shooter, bro. Like I'm gonna keep it 100 everywhere I go, man. Like I never been the type to abuse or like like I've always was like I felt like I had some righteousness still, even when I was doing wrong. And it's like I never crossed those dudes, for there to be a reason, you know what I'm saying to you? So I can honestly say, yeah, I no, it was like, yo, it was just the way they were. They swore that they were it, man,
yeah,
and they should just get wrecked. Like, if you fought them on a one, you was whooping their ass because they don't know how to fight. But things change. See? And it happens in all aspects of the game. You see, it goes from just fighting with the hands, right, to eventually these dudes start picking up weapons.
Evolution.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, and exactly, evolution, and it happens to everybody because you go from a kid, right, just being a kid and just fighting, right, and all of a sudden that fight goes to one day you get jumped, to one day you say, you know what, I'm not getting jumped no more, man. That's not happening to me ever again. Yeah, you
Yeah.
develop a PTSD, and now the next time you elevate your game and you do something even worse. You might pick up you might pick up a switch, you know what I mean, and do something different, and here you go, like you elevate, and then that fear, once the fear is lost, once the fear, right, that fear you feel, it's like the movie Rocky. Yeah, Frankie Fear, it's you and Frankie Fear in the ring, the movie Rocky. He says what he speaks about that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love the movie Rockies. But that once you lose Frankie Fear, man, it's over. And that's what happened to me little by little, like, and I know, and that because I like I said, you knew my brother first, and yeah, my brother, like, he was just a kid. Like, we was just trying to live, man. We was
Yeah.
just being
Yeah.
in that neighborhood, just trying to have fun. And here goes, a group of dudes messing with us, for no reason. And we had to just stand on our own feet and do what we had to do, like F it. And especially when if your brother's getting into something, man, like, guess what? You're automatically, that's it. You're in it, you know? And it was something in the ninth grade center, man. Like, at that time, it wasn't just only with that one mainline crew; it's with another mainline crew,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they were just everywhere. Everybody ran with this one crew at a time. It seems like everybody, and like I said, I don't want to put out, because I don't want this thing to be about that we choose sides. That's not what this podcast is, man. There's a platform for everybody, man. We're
Yeah.
just talking about the roots, the beginning. I want you guys to understand and everybody to understand, like, where we come from, especially my little dude Los here too, man. Like, I'm so proud of him, man. Like, of what he, because where he was, like, you
Thank
know,
you.
and who he is today. Today he's got his own, he's a grown man, and now we're just trying to reach out and share our stories so that maybe you don't make the same mistake. Maybe you're a young dude, maybe you're an old dude. Who fucking knows? Some motherfuckers are still 45 years old gang banging. Like, what the fuck? Like, like, hello, like, when are you gonna get it? Like,
It's evolution,
it's like,
man. We gotta
yo,
evolve.
no, it's like it's insanity, bro. It's a life of insanity. It's doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
I heard that.
That's the definition, you know. But yeah, my brother, and then you guys are beefing, and you're right. I met you, later on, like later on, and that's when hey man, that's what we did. We did our little thing, like, we came together because we saw what I saw in you guys, man, was just kids that were just trying to just be kids, man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair that you guys were going through the shit that you were going through, and me, I'm a protector, and my brother was the same way, So we said, you know what, like, F it, I'd rather you guys be with me, be with my camp, be with us, and I know that I'm not gonna lead you astray, or I'm not going to send you on that doja mission, which is going to put you away for 25 years, But we're going to protect each other, and that's all we did, was protect each other,
Yeah.
because we had to at a time when everybody was just wilding the F out, Like, we had to stand up. And that's all we did, man, is stand up, But it's crazy because, we could have lost ourselves through all that shit,
Yeah.
And things do come. Things, you do lose bits and pieces of yourself in the street. Each fight, each little scrape, each little time you bled, a little piece of you is out there still,
Yeah.
Mad of my shit is still out in Regis, 'Cause, I got stabbed, niggas cut me, shooting at me, and all this craziness that happens, with the life of the streets,
Yeah.
So mad of me is still out there. And today, I'm trying to put myself back together each day, even till to today, right now. And it's a hard thing to do, man. It's a hard thing to do. Like, how did you do it? What made you like, say that, hey, it's time to stop all the childish things, man? Like, what was it?
Um, it was a lot of things, man. But
Mm,
I, I, I've had several conversations with a friend of mine who was, we talked about him before. He was locked up. He got sentenced to federal prison
mm,
for 15 years, and we would talk,
wow.
and it was the reading. He got me into reading. once I started
Uh,
to read and I started to open my mind and I started
yeah,
to, like, because there's people out there that they move strategically. They have strategies, and
yeah,
sometimes when you aren't aware of those certain strategies, you could easily become a victim. And I didn't want to be a victim, so I just decided just to read. I just read, and I wasn't reading like Harry Potter books. I was reading, like self-help books that other people may consider deceiving, but it's
yeah.
not. I wasn't reading it so I could deceive people. I was reading it so I could learn when I was being deceived, you know, when
Uh,
somebody was trying to fuck with me, when somebody was trying to lie to me,
yeah.
you know. So, and it was just that, man. And the last
Hmm.
straw for me to move to Georgia was I took my girl to a movie theater in the Deer Park outlets.
Huh. Yep.
And for those who live in New York, in Brentwood specifically, there's a shortcut that you could go through to get to those outlets, which is the Pilgrim State Mental Hospital, the one that was shut down.
Yeah.
So we're coming back from the movie theaters, right? And we're like passing Pilgrim State is behind us. We're heading towards Crooked Hill, and I stop at a light. It's like 11 o'clock at night, bro. This black SUV pulls up next to my truck that I'm in with my girl. They all roll the windows down, bro, and they just start throwing up gang signs.
Oh man.
And it was the same, gang that I had issue with. So
Oh
I
shit.
really thought that was it for us. Even my girl told me. I was at a
Yeah.
red light, bro. I fucking stomped on the gas and I dipped, hit 495 and I hit, went to Central Islip. But it was that, man. And I was just my son was about to be born too, and I
Oh,
wanted a
she
different
was
life, man.
pregnant.
Yeah, yeah, she
She
was.
was pregnant. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, I lost my license for 10 years for street racing. And
Oh man.
yeah, so every time I kept getting pulled over, I kept getting locked up. And I would bond out the next day. But the last time the judge told me that if I was going to get caught again, he was going to give me 180 days.
Oh man.
So I started to find a solution. Um I came across the screen printing. I learned that I'm a high school dropout, so I don't have a degree in nothing. I mastered
Uh,
screen printing. I read books.
mm,
I did my research, and a company accepted me, and then I moved out here, and I've been out here since January 11th of 2016. But I
wow.
left. I lived here for a year. I believe you were in prison when I left.
Probably
When,
so. Yeah.
yeah, when
I
you
mean, I feel bad when y'all say that shit, man, because you know, like it hurt me to be away from y'all. Not knowing what's what I'm saying, because you're not for nothing, man. Like I had mad love for y'all. I don't know. Like me, I always kept it real, man. Whatever I ever told you fools, man, when we were together, it was because I honestly meant it, man. So me being away, man, it really killed me not knowing what was going on with y'all, but understanding the chaos of the street and not being able to be there to 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 take the brunt for you guys, because
yeah.
that's all I ever wanted to do. Me and my brother always stood in front of y'all, man. Like we would never send y'all. We would stand in front of y'all. We would stand next to y'all, and we were all. You know what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so it hurts me a little bit when you say that. It stings a little bit though.
Yeah,
But continue, my
when you
man.
left,
It's the facts.
because when you left, a lot of the people that we were chilling with, they ended up becoming gang members,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
I didn't. It never caught my attention to try to join a gang. Till this day, I stand firm in that I never did join
Yeah.
any gang. But I had to leave, bro. It was way too hot. It was getting ridiculous. They were dominating like crazy,
Well, not for
crazy.
nothing, but not for nothing though. I just wanted to put this shit. I want to put this out here though. I want to put this because I want the people to understand something. Like when he's saying that a lot of the people that we were chilling with went and became gang members. Don't get it twisted. Like we were gang members, but we did our own thing. You know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
We had our own little thing going. You know what I'm saying to you? But there was other mainline gangs, of course, that are more infamous, been around for many, 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 many years. But what we did was we formed our own little thing, man, because we didn't want nobody to have to go through that. Because you know, when you go through that, it's a process. And guess what? You're gonna be tested to the max. All right. So any young kid that's listening right now, I want you to know, like when you're thinking about doing that, yeah, it's fun and cool when you go into little parties, right? And you're hanging out, and it's that fun time, that fun period. But then it's that dark period.
Mm-hmm.
There's that dark time when you're gonna be in a situation that you're not comfortable in. All right, because I don't care what you say, man. Like, you know, to have it in you to hurt somebody to the point where they might lose their life is not something naturally that's in you. And if it is, man, then you and Michael Myers ass motherfuckers, and maybe you right in place. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
maybe you right where you're supposed to be. But a lot of us, we're good. We're good people, man. We're good people. We're just, we're just tired of this shit.
yeah.
Like it's like that song. What's that song? Dang, man, I forget. Dang, man. You don't know half of dang, you know what I'm talking about, man? Come on, bro. You're the
Uh,
musically guy, man. All my people, something, take it slow. Wait till we ask you who you know. You don't know half of the abuse. Some shit like that. You remember that shit?
mm,
Oh
no,
man, boy. It
I
came
don't.
out. It came out. It came out with the fucking man. Anyways, bro.
I
Yo,
got you. I
nah, but
learned that out.
yo,
So
bro, it's gone. But yo, homie, nah, dead ass though, man. Like it's just us, man. Like we go through shit, and you get tired, man. You get tired. You get tired. But it's really, really, man. It's like, man, you have to know who you are, bro.
yeah.
I say this, man. If I would have known, like you said, you started reading, right? Whole boy that was locked away in the federal penitentiary. I mean, like I know what it's like to be locked away, right? And when you're there, you're still primitive. You're still like a monkey. All
Mm,
you do is beat on your chest. You beat on your chest. Right? You beat on your chest in situations. You don't use your brain. But once you start trying to, right? Like I remember sitting in solitary confinement and really forcing myself to read the Bible. Like I was sitting there and every day I would force myself to read a line because I couldn't understand that King James Bible. I couldn't understand those D's and thous and when. I'm like, what the heck are they saying?
yeah.
But I kept on trying. My heart wanted to understand. My soul was yearning for something, more than what I was seeing, what I was doing. And I know that God was feeling me. Like he was understanding that I really wanted to change. Then one day out of nowhere, I'm telling you that those lines became clear. It became like reading you know, the fox ran over the dog, like something simple like that, something stupid. Like I mean, it just became so clear. I was able to see and translate and to understand those crazy words. But it's something that you force, you continue, you keep on trying. You got to keep on trying. Look, you had nothing. You had nothing, bro. And if you still didn't have nothing, if you never got that printing and you know, was able to start doing something that made you happy, you probably would still be here in Brentwood somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're right.
Drinking mad 40s, somewhere in a wooded area, doing some crazy shit. But since you found it's like a book that I read, right? It's called the the Manifesto of Communism, right? Of
Mm,
communism, right? By Karl Marx, right? Karl Marx, the father of the father of communism, right? Oh my God, communists! Listen, I don't care what you say. All you fools that talk like that don't know jack
mm,
because communism, if you read it in a sense, man, it's something that in its pure state is something that could be beautiful. But anyways, he talks about something called alienation of labor. He says that in the chapter, he says that when a man is going through the mundane steps of the world every day, going to the slave ship every morning, right? Right, Los?
yeah.
Going to the slave ship, right? When you're just doing the same thing every day, but you're not creating with your hands like God created you to do, right?
Yeah.
God created man, right? We are able to create, right? But when we're not creating and building something beautiful that we can look back and be like, wow, look at this that I built today.
That's right.
We have no sense of purpose and
Mm,
no sense of anything. So a man is down. A man had, when you're not doing that. But when you're building and creating and making, your sense of purpose in life is up. Like you're like, wow, like, you know, and
yeah,
that's what you found, Los. That's what you have. And that's a beautiful thing. But it doesn't come easy. It comes with really wanting it. You understand?
yeah,
You saying, reading, you saying, putting knowledge in your head, And man, it's a beautiful thing, bro, to see that metamorphosis in you. To seeing you from a little monkey, a little spider monkey running around the streets of Brentwood, right? The little spider monkey that you were, because you was a slick little nigga, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, and you would give it up, you would do what you had to do, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, you were strong, like, but you was like, like those, and then look at you now. Look at you now. A lion leading a pride with beautiful
yeah.
kids, beautiful, smart kids, intelligent kids, right? You got a good, strong wife behind you, and that's important too, always too, having that strong, beautiful wife behind you. Shout out to your wife, who
Mm,
I'm more than sure she's the mastermind of everything.
right. It's my
She's the
queen of
hef,
the
you know what I mean?
chessboard.
Like straight up, right? And it's a beautiful thing, though, bro. To see you,
Man,
to see
thanks.
all this,
Yeah, it
man.
was cool, man. It was cool to be able to go over your house and hang out with you guys. Your mom, shout out to her, man, because she was
Yeah, man.
so real. She
Yeah,
was
yep.
so brutally honest, and I feel like
Uh,
we we need people like her, man. Because it's important. And it's funny
yeah.
because when you guys lived in that house, for those that don't know, I rap, I do music, and so does
Yeah.
Carlos. And one of the
Eh.
first songs that I recorded was at his house. His stepdad had a
Yeah.
studio in the basement, and I was able to, you know, come up with some cash, and I think it was like $30 an hour at the time.
Yeah, it was some light shit. Yeah, I recorded that shit. I remember that shit. That was
Yeah,
dope as hell, man.
and I recorded
Yo,
it, and fuck, man, I lost that song, man.
it's crazy how we do that, right? We do things like that, man. We don't, man, like it's lost now in time. It's lost now. It's gone. Like the Emmy files of the Anunnaki. You know what I'm saying? To like the
Yeah,
master secret hidden. Like well, we we have to take the things that we do, like when we create, like we have to have more pride in them, and to
yeah,
hold them, to be able to share them. Because look at that. That song was a cool ass song, man. And crazy is that I forgot it, but I remember it being dope hearing it, and my stepdad would not record shit if it was whack.
yeah,
If you was whack, you was not getting the time of day. If you paid some money, all right, he'll put some shit together for you quick, and that was it. We wouldn't hear about it. But when you recorded that song, I remember him coming home from work and saying, "Yo, you got to hear this. Your friend, little Carlos, and then this is the kid Mark, man. Listen to this." And it was so cool, man. Like music. I know that the music had a big, it was a big influence in you. It had a big,
yeah.
like I mean, talk about it, bro. Like, tell me more about like you still doing it, or is it something that you let go, or what?
Um, I mean, I tell people that I haven't been in the studio in a while, but when you're an
Yeah,
artist, you just can't. It's not a switch that you switch it off and that's it.
yeah.
I'll be at work and sometimes the presses will be like, you know, and it'll be like that for like hours, and I'll just freestyle on top of it, And yeah, I mean, I'm always writing.
Ah,
I'm always writing for sure. But music was for me was just like a
mhm.
it was an outlet. I was seeing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
I would buy my beats from halftime. You remember the barbershop halftime?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
When I first
Uh,
went into that barbershop, everybody looked at me like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Because it was all black people. You know, remember
ah.
halftime was like that, and
Oh yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
beats, the beats. the- the Guy asked me, he's like, "What do you
Not for
want?"
nothing. Not for nothing. Not for nothing. Not to cut you off. But every time I went there, I got a fucked up haircut. Every time.
That's
Yeah,
fucked.
they always jacked up my hair. Yo, every time I sat on that chair, bro, I regretted it, bro. It was like what? And they always gave me some dude that you could tell that just came out of jail. You know what I mean? And
Damn.
he never dealt with no Spanish hair in his life. Not for nothing though, because you have it's different type of hair, man. I don't
Yeah,
care
it
what you
is.
say, man. It's different, man. And they always jacked me up, bro. And it always was in a time like right in the first day of school, man. Like what the fuck, bro?
Damn.
What?
Yeah, well, I used to buy my
Yeah,
beats
man.
from them, and you know, uh, my parents were real heavy Christians, so
Uh,
we weren't. Look, people get shocked when I tell them that I never grew up listening to Prince, because it's just in our household, it was everything was Christian. We couldn't watch anything that wasn't Christian, movie related. We couldn't listen to anything that was not Christian. So when my mom found my Get Rich and Die Trying album, um,
mm,
she smashed it and threw it away. And I was like,
huh.
that was like my favorite album, man. So yeah, I mean, but I wasn't the only one who lost files too, because you had a
Oh
fire
man.
song. Uh, who made that beat? Did
Yeah.
Tony make that? The
Man,
Do What You
nah,
Do?
man.
You remember that?
All right, so yeah, hey, yeah. What happened was is that my dad had an artist called the Architect, Matt. His name was Matt. Shout out to Matt, the Architect. Man, he's still around. He's dope, man. Like he's a dope lyricist. Like
Nice.
he's into that positivity rap. At that time, he was it was like a Christian rap that he was doing. But I'm telling you that this man could go to a bar, go to an open mic, right? And against anybody who was flowing there, blow you out the water speaking about God, bro. Like he
Yeah.
was that nice. But there was another guy out on Long Island that was making beats. And he was like attached to Vibe Records or something like that. And he gave a bunch of beats to Matt. And Matt one day gave me a copy of some of the ones that he wasn't using. And in those beats was that one song, man, that it was dope. And I did a couple lines to it. I recorded a couple lines to it, and but it was really a remix of Tito Jackson, which was a love song, like where he said, "Why won't you do what you do, what you do, what you did to me?" Like it was
Yeah.
a love song, but then they changed it up to that Alvin and Chikma voice.
Yeah. They
Why
lower.
won't
Yeah.
you
They lower the
do what
pitch.
you do, what you do? Yeah, they did it, and then they hit that beat like boom, like some crazy shit in the background. And I did a couple lines to it, like yeah, music, like you saying, was the outlet because not for nothing, you know, while we were just trying to be safe, what would we do? We were in the backyard with the couch right under the awning with the radio blasting, playing beats, and we were just rapping. And not for nothing, our little crew that we started, it started out of that. It came out of that. It was a rap crew,
Yeah.
and and, 3 Piece Mafia, man. It was the rap crew, boom, and like that's when we started doing that, and then
3 p.m.
yeah, 3 p.m., bro, and then you know how it blew up after that, like it just spread like wildfire because when people see that something is real, man, like and they saw the camaraderie in us, and they know that we were good people. People want to be a part of that,
You're right.
and that's why it got so big the way it did, you know. But yeah, man, the music thing was the outlet, But in a sense too, music is so dangerous because you know it does something to you, it's something in us in our Indian ways that are deep inside of us. We have an Indian, deep in your soul somewhere, there's a Taino, there's an Aztec, there's a Mayan, there's an Inca, there's some Indian in you, right? And in when he hears those drums, doom da doom da doom, there's something in you that has to move, right? And
Yeah.
it's a thing that it could it could be in a good way, or it could be in a bad way because the music can influence the war drums. When you hear those war drums, a lot of times people getting ready to ride out, they're listening to something,
Yeah.
they're listening to some music to get them amped, get them ready, get them pumped, get their blood flowing, and yeah, but the music, was a good thing. It was fun, I wish, like I say to you, it's something that I wish I would have cherished it more, like, and I would have kept those files and kept them, you know, on deck so that way I could have my son listen to them. Like
Yeah.
all I have really is that one song, Spanish Lullaby, that recorded, with my boy Chella,
Chile
man.
man,
Shout out to
Chile
Chella,
man.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's doing, he's going through his musical thing, changing his genre a little bit, but he is so talented, man. Like that dude is talented. He's a musician, bro, and he allowed me to get on a track with him, and that was my first time recording, like, and we did a
Wow.
great song, man, and we used to go to the clubs and perform it. I mean, even to this day, is a great song.
Oh
Like
yeah. I mean
it's
that
dope.
whole that whole album. Did Tony produce that album?
Yeah, my dad, he produced it, and the thing about that is that a lot of the instruments were live instruments. It wasn't, it wasn't just all made in Fruity Loops. Like no, like a lot of it is live instrument. And that's what was dope about that. And yeah, Tony actually wrote another song, and I think it was called "Me Va a Llorar." Tony actually wrote that song, and it's another dope song that he has there. Um, but Spanish Lullaby, yeah, we went and we did that in a couple spots, like a couple big clubs in the city. Like we did it in Strata.
Oh wow.
But yeah, we went to Strata, and Strata was a big club. And it was Vibe Records was actually having an album release party for one of their artists called, her name was Paradise, and she actually bought the song from my dad somehow or something, and she changed it up and put it into her album, and she allowed me to come and perform our version of it that night. And there was mad people there, like Jen from Rough Riders was there. There was a couple people from Vibe, and it was like that was the biggest venue I ever did. And
Nice.
yeah, me and Chella did it. It was fun, man. Like those times, like I thought I was something big, like yeah, going to the club performing, then after that, people start seeing you, right? They're like, "Oh shit, yo, I saw you performing at this club," and you get a swole head, At that time, I was stupid cocky, I swore I could fight the world, and I would try, man. Like I would literally try, man.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
I swear to God, man, I would go to the club, man, and they was sending you like that's what I wanted. I didn't want to fight 1-on-1. I wanted like 10-on-3. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see whoever was with me if you was really about it, because I know what I was saying was real. I want to
Yeah.
see if you really had my back, But it was innocent fun at those times. It was stupid, I wish that I wish that I could have woken up then, but it took me going to prison for those many years that I went to,
How
and
many? What was your
well, my
the
first
time?
bid I did 2 years. My first bid I did 2 years, and I was home for not even like 4 or 5 months, bro.
Yeah, I
And then
remember
I
that.
went right back up again for 5 years. So it was like my first bid. I was still a kid. I was still young, so like I was still up there wilding out. I was bugging out. But my second bid, at the beginning, yeah, I was wilding, but after going to solitary confinement so many times, like I don't know, there was something in me that wanted change, man, and wanted more,
Yeah.
And I never forget that there was a situation that happened, and so, all right, man. Like I had lost all my time. I lost all my good time. Like if I was behaving, I would have been going home within like let's say that time. Let's say it was April and May, right? I would have been
Mhm.
going home in May, right? And it was October. It was October, so I had a couple months. Like if I would have been good, I would have been going home at that time. So it was hitting me. It was hitting me like, damn, man, like I messed this up. I could have been going home in, 7 months, after doing, all these years, you're like, damn, like I could have been going home soon,
Yeah.
And I was just tired of everything, man. I was tired of the drama that was going on in the prison, like and I was running with a mainline crew, and I was actually the president. Like I sat on the top, and man, doing that, like you're the one. You're involved in everything. You're involved in every little drama. You're involved in every little move, like, and you know, it just got tiring. It wears you down because you see the triflingness, you
Mm.
see the hate, you see things that you don't even want to see. You're like, wow, man, like so, what really woke me up was that one day I went on a visit. I went on a visit and I saw my daughter. My daughter, when I got locked up, she was like 6 months old, right? She was a baby, so she really didn't know what was going on, right? But now
Yeah.
she was growing up. She was 4 or 5 at the time, and she came and she's speaking and she's looking around and she's thinking that I was living in a castle She used to say like, that I'm going to see my daddy in the castle. My daughter
Oh
Destiny,
wow.
and so when she, there was a period that she was said something about, when are you gonna come home? When are you gonna come with me? And I had to tell her like, no, I have to stay here, baby. I'm sorry, but it's okay. I'll be home soon. Like, and it ate me. It for the first time, I had to hold back tears. On the visit, surrounded by gangsters. Like I'm sucking those tears back, like, "Grr," And I remember going back to the gym right after the visit. I go back to the gym and I was sitting down with one of my so-called bros, right? And I'm talking to him and I'm saying to him, man, I'm telling him everything that happened, right? And he's like distant. As I'm talking to him, he's like looking, towards the left, towards the right, like he's looking for somebody, And here I am spilling my guts about my kid, like basically almost in tears, like how I'm tired of hurting them, like how I want to change, how I want something different. And
Yeah.
he's just kind of like, looking, and he's like, "Oh, give me a second," right in the middle of me telling him something in the conversation about my daughter. He said, "Hold on, I'll be right back," and he jumps off, and I watch him as he goes
Wow.
off. I watch him as he goes off and makes a drug deal, and it comes back. And I say to him, "Yo, bro, did you just really cut me off, like as I'm talking about my daughter, so that you can go, go make a, to go do a movimiento, you know what I'm saying? Let's go make a move." Like he's, "Oh, yo, I'm sorry, bro." I said, "Yo, let me ask you a question. What's my daughter's name?"
Mm.
After I was talking to him for 2 hours straight, about my daughter, saying my daughter's name about 18 times, he didn't even tell me my daughter's name. And it was crazy because at that time there was another election going on. So, people were voting and they were, I was in the running again to be the president, right? And it was a lot of shit going on. And I just say, you know what? I'm good, man. I'm done with this. And they didn't understand what I was saying, man, but I was like really just tired, done. And I stepped away and I walked out, went back to my dorm. I didn't come out for a while, right? So I remember I was studying a lot, like you said, I was studying a lot about, Christianity and different things, and I was learning how to read Hebrew. So I was going to the
Oh wow.
synagogue yeah, I was going to the synagogue and I was studying with the Jews, right? And I was learning how to read Hebrew, how to, read and write, pronunciate with their words. Learned the alphabet from the beginning, Aleph, Tau, Bet, Gimel, Dot, and where the commandments go and everything, because I really wanted to understand the Bible, and I really wanted to be able to translate it for myself. I didn't want to go and read the translation for what they thought it meant. I
Yeah.
really want to see what it was in the beginning, in the root, in its prime, and come up with my own, my own suggestion, my own translation, in a sense.
Yeah.
So there was a CEO. His name was Duffy. Shout out to Mr. Duffy, wherever he is in the world, man. What an awesome man. What
Nice.
an awesome man! Because let me tell you something. That man used to see me studying every day, right? He used to walk by myself, and then one day he stopped and he said to me, "What are you studying?" And then I explained to him, and he was like, "Wow!" And he was a Christian man. He was just going to church, so he started talking to me about the messages that he was having when he went to Sunday service. He was bringing it back to me, telling me about it. And then one day he came and he brought me a book that he was reading, which you're not really supposed to do that. But he said, "Listen, just you read this and you give it right back to me. You don't tell nobody." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, "Yeah, no doubt. I got you, Mr. Duffy." And it went like that. He would bring me a book all the time, books that you couldn't even get in.
Oh
And
wow.
so I'm studying these books, and then one day, uh, I go to do my job, which was in the dorm. I get up right after I was done reading what he gave me, and I came to him and I spoke with him. And I was like, "Yo, Mr. Duffy, da da da," and I'm speaking to him about it, and it was about the Nephilim, the fallen angels, the Watchers, the
Mm.
Anunnaki, the Anunnaki.
What book
It
was
was
that? Was
it
that
was a
the
lot of
book of
things.
Enoch?
Oh yeah, it was about the book. So basically, this book, it was by Dr. Michael Lake, right? And it was called the Shinar Directive, and it talked about the Watchers and the book of Enoch and everything that intertwines. It all intertwines. Um, this is something that one day I would like to speak to you more about. But it's so
Yeah.
much to go into right now.
Yeah.
But it's just about what happened, what God did for me, and why I decided to So listen, let me tell you, let me keep on going. So now, um, I go to do my job, and we're talking about the book,
Mhm.
and something happens as he's walking back. An inmate hands him a piece of paper, and he opens the paper, and I see it. I see the whole movement. He opens the paper, and he looks at me, and he looks at the paper, shakes his head. He's walking back and forth, and he gets on the phone. He calls somebody, And I'm just doing my job. All of a sudden, I see a bunch of COs come in, and they go to my cell and they call my name. So when I come to my cell, they're searching my cell. So I'm like, all right, cool. I ain't got nothing there. I ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And as they're searching my cell, they find the knife underneath
Oh.
my locker. I talk about some big Rambo crap. Like, it was just ridiculous long, like a machete. I'm like, what the hell? And when they found that knife, as soon as they found it up, then they grabbed me up, bah, threw me to the floor, handcuffed me, taking me right to the box. And as they're taking me to the box, I look at Mr. Duffy and I say, "Yo, Mr. Duffy, man, you know that wasn't mine." And he says, "I'm sorry, Zayas. It was in your possession." You know, and they take me away. So I'm like, wow, like, I'm saying in my head, like, there goes everything, because I was working on getting my time back. So I was doing a lot of programs. Okay, so anybody who don't know, when you're in prison, you lose your time for fighting and stuff like that. If you do anger management, if you do programs, like, you go to a committee and they decide how much time they're gonna give back to you. It's called the time committee. Like, they sometimes they give you a month back, sometimes they give you 3 months, like that. But it was
Okay.
unheard of, right? That they gave me all my time back. All right, that they gave me all my time back. They just needed me to complete this one program that I was doing. It was like an ART program, like anger management, all those stupid things mixed together, right?
Hmm.
So if I completed it, I would have got all my time back. I was going home. But now having this knife there was gonna give me a new charge,
Damn.
and now a new charge comes when you have get caught with a knife in prison. You got a 1.5 to 3 years, all right, and you're going to the box for And I already went to the box a bunch of times, so I would have been going to the box for 2 years, right? So now they're taking me, and I'm just like, wow. I'm like, wow, bro, like, this is crazy, And I was really doing good. Like, I was going to church. I was behaving, I was really changing inside. I really wanted to change. So as I'm going, right, I get thrown in the box, right, boom, and the door gets shut behind me. When that door shuts behind me, man, um, in my head, man, I hear my mom telling me as we were kids, man, when you get locked up, when you go to jail, the devil's gonna be in the corner of your cell laughing at you. Like, if he made you do
Mm.
what you did, it was the devil's fault, like, but he's gonna be laughing at you in the corner, right? And I heard that, and I swear to you, Carlos, that I could see the devil in the corner laughing at me. And he said, clear as day, don't you pray now. Don't you
Wow.
pray now. You ain't prayed this whole time. Don't you pray now. Right? And I almost didn't do it. I was pacing that cell back and forth, and I was so mad, but I was so defeated. You know, I was tired of everything. I was thinking about everything, bro. About our time in the streets. About me getting locked up. Everything was playing. The things
Yeah.
that I was doing. The nonsense of me almost getting killed. And my boy getting shot up in the back. He like. It's another story. Like, they came back and they tried to headshot me, man. But that gun jammed on that dude, man. And they wanted to
Damn.
put they wanted to finish me. It got deep like that in the streets.
Yeah.
And so, like, and I'm thinking about all this stuff, and like, eventually the weight of everything became too hard for me to hold, and I just fell to my knees, and I started crying. I started praying, and I said, Father God, like, you know, help me. And I said, Jesus, you know what it is to be accused of something that you didn't do. You know,
Mm.
you know what it feels like. I didn't do this. And I'm just trying to go home to my kids, man. I'm just trying to go home. I'm
Yeah.
tired of this. I'm done with this life. I don't want it no more. Like, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And that was it. I left that prayer up there, right? And now when something happens to you, you go to like you go to almost like it's like a courtroom type situation, right? You have a judge, and the judge is a CO. He's a deputy, So basically, no matter what you do, you can have 80 witnesses saying you didn't do it. It don't matter, bro. It's like you're going. It's like if you get into something with a cop, the cop says you fired him, right? But the cop is the judge, and the cop is the DA. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think is gonna happen? They're gonna stick together. You're guilty no matter what.
Yeah.
So I go to this hearing, man, and they just basically tell me like this. He says, "Listen, you have about 80 witnesses out there, and I don't want to see nobody." He was so mad. People were coming to be my witness, and I didn't even ask, because that's unheard of in
Whoa.
jail. People usually don't do that shit. They stay out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe you get lucky, you get one or two people, maybe, and they'll be your mans. You know what I mean? Like, and they'll be like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go because I know." You know what I mean? Like, and those are real dudes, but a lot of people don't even do that shit, bro. a lot of times somebody will get in some shit and their right hand man could go and testify and say, yo, and they wouldn't even do it. You know what I mean? Like, but yo, the whole dorm, almost the whole dorm came to testify on my behalf, including Duffy, the cop.
Oh,
So
damn.
the cop came back and told him, yo, listen, he didn't do that. He
Mm,
said that he saw the kid put the knife under my thing. He said he saw him, but he didn't see him do that. Right? But people were coming to him during the day and like, yo, Duffy, man, you know that's wrong. You know that Zayas didn't do that. You know that you know, because when you're really trying to change, people see they can see past your bullshit too. You know what I'm saying to you?
yeah.
And they, and literally, bro, I treat everybody like a good person, bro. I was good to everybody, man. Like, like we had Thanksgiving, there was people that didn't have food, bro, and we fed the whole dorm, bro. I fed people that didn't have shit, man. Like we had a Thanksgiving meal, bro, in prison, a big meal, rice, everything, cheesecake,
Nice.
everything, bro, everything. And we had a big table, and all the Latinos came to sit down, and all the whoever else, it didn't matter what color you were, come sit down on the table,
Yeah.
and they remember that. And now, so the depth said, man, listen, I don't care what you got to say or what's but you're gonna do time in the box, but you're not gonna get the charge. I'm gonna drop the charge, but you're going to the box. And I said, man, all right, I'll take it.
For how
So
long?
I didn't get the charge. I went to the box and it was like 8 months something in the box. Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be the year, right? Or something like that. And I think I went to do like 6 months out of that shit because something happened at that time that they couldn't give you the year in the box or something like the box situation started changing. It got lighter because solitary confinement was really messing people up. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, mentally.
So yeah, mentally. So they changed it. Like they couldn't give you a year in the box no more. Like you could get two rec periods. Like automatically you get your headphones instead of getting them after 6 months. Like the stupid shit they used to do. Like you can get your headphones after being in the box for 6 months or some stupid shit. I don't know. And so they started making it a little bit more light, a little more tolerable.
Yeah.
But the whole point is that I told God, man, if you can help me get out the situation, there won't be nobody that I won't tell about it. And when you're in the belly of the beast, you're in the
Mm,
belly of the beast, bro. And God shows, even though I still had to go to the box, right? It's okay, right? I still had to suffer a little bit, right?
yeah.
But that 1.5 to 3, I didn't get that. I didn't get that charge. I didn't have to, that was more time, bro. And I went to the time committee and I got all my good time back. So I was going home within a month. Yeah, like so
Nice.
shit like that. Man. I was going home like right then and there. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I was sitting in the box, happy, waiting. Like and then one day they called my name and it was time for me to go.
Wow, that was
Yep.
that must have been a hell of an experience, man. To know that even
Oh
though,
man.
we we both were going through a lot at the time, and to be honest, it sounds like you were going through a lot more tougher things. And I know
Yeah.
there's a lot more stories that
Mm.
because I've for years, uh, I've had several extensive conversations with you, and
All right.
I've learned so much from you. One of the things too, like recently, which I'm a heavy, heavy Christian. I love and I believe Jesus Christ in Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and nothing will change my faith. But I like looking into stuff, and when you mentioned about the lost book of Enki or the Epic of
Yeah.
Gilgamesh, these are
Yeah.
things that I I just started to research, and because I like to research stuff when people tell me, because
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, I want to see if this shit's true. I'm not
Yeah.
saying
Of
you're a
course.
bullshitter. I'm just
Nah. Yeah.
I
Of
get
course.
interested in it.
Yeah.
And I think that will definitely save that for another episode, because that could turn into like a
Oh
five
yeah.
hour conversation.
Oh
But
man. It is.
I do
It is.
definitely wanna thank you
Ah
for
man.
a lot of things, man. Mainly for always looking out for us when we were younger, always giving us advice, and even till now, man, you still give me advice, and I appreciate that big time. And I know that this conversations with Los is it's for me it's big, because I get the
Yeah.
chance to speak to people, but out of everybody, speaking to you, it's wow. I mean, I'm sure the listeners as well learned a lot, and that's not something new. That every time I talk to you, I don't learn something. I learn something
Yeah,
every
well,
single time I talk to you. So
that's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that, man. That's deep, man. You know, yeah, that's deep, man. That's awesome. Man, this you have a platform here, man, where it's something that a lot of good can be done,
yeah,
and I'm with all of that, like I didn't want to just come over here and just have us tell war stories, like we're presenting to the world something that what we're trying to do here, like and you taking this step and creating this, like you did a lot of work, and
thank you.
so this is something dope, like, and of course I'm gonna be back, and
Hell
whenever I'm
yeah,
gonna come over here, I'm gonna drop some gold on everybody. You
that's
know what I'm
right.
saying too? Like that like you what you're saying about the Epic of Gilgamesh, man. Yeah, man. Like that we know through the civilizations. Like I'm just gonna leave it like this because I don't want to go too far because this is another crazy topic, man. Like, but this is something deep. To understand who you are today, you have to understand your past. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't understand your history and your past, you're doomed to repeat it. I think that was on Narcos. Like Pablo Escobar, right? Like you're like,
Yeah,
okay, right. So there's a fact, you know what I'm saying too. But
yeah,
we all know through our civilizations, right? Either if you're Mexican, then it's your Aztec civilization, or your Toltec, or or all the Indians, even to Africa, to the Egyptians. We know that there was a beginning, there was a something different. We can't say that these people built these civilizations out of with no help, with no
yeah,
help. But we know even in the Bible, in Genesis, it speaks about, you know, God sending the angels, the angels that went against, the watchers, the ones that fought against him in heaven, right? Who chose Lucifer's side. One third of heaven fell with Lucifer.
mm-hmm.
One third of heaven. That means one third of the angels fought with Lucifer. They were thrown down to the earth, And
Yeah,
here in the Bible, it even says that they mixed with the daughters of, with the daughters of the earth, and then were born to them with the Nephilim. So yeah, there's something deeper in these books. In the book of Gilgamesh, that book of Gilgamesh, man, like we see a lot of similarities. I see a lot of similarities that are coinciding, that come, with the Bible. And I believe that, that it has to do, it all comes together. A lot of Christians are gonna be like, oh, blasphemy, blasphemy. No, see, that's the wrong thing. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong with this. First of all, we should be, learning everything. So that way we can give an apologetic. It's in it. Even Peter says it. You have to give an apologetic. That means you have to be able to stand on your 2 feet and tell people what you believe in. You
yeah, it's true.
understand? And why you believe in it. And be
And
able to defend your faith and be a defender of your faith. Yeah, we believe in Christ. I believe in Christ. But we want to take a journey because we're trying to find the truth. And we know that there's truth. I can tell you there's something behind here, man. And it's good to open up your go out of your threshold.
yeah. Oh, I think he cut off. Uh, not the way I wanted to end it. But I will have Carlos again on the next episode. Uh, I'm sorry it cut off like that. I'm still new to this whole program, but thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Los. Want to give a shout out to uh Carlos, Carlos's mom Lily. Thank you for being awesome with us. Thank you for having us at your house and wilding out on us when we were doing crazy shit. I also want to give a shout out to everybody who's took the time to listen to the podcast and who's been supportive of it as well. We will definitely have another episode dropping soon. So may all you guys take care. God bless you and be safe. Remember, educate yourself, man. Knowledge is power.